So we're here at the Future of Web Design NYC 2010. I'm Nick Pettit, this is Mike Kus, and you're watching Doctype. So, how are you doing today, Mike?
Well, cool, yeah, you?
I'm doing well.
Thanks for
doing
having
well. So, lately, you've been using Instagram quite a lot.
What's that?
What's
Yeah.
What's your obsession? I mean,
I've always been into taking pictures, doing, full-time design at Carsonified, doing freelance work, having a family. It's just one of those sort of hobbies that I don't really seem to be able to find the time to do. And but it's something I've always liked doing. And Instagram, it's funny. When I first started at Carsonified, I remember saying to Ryan, I didn't really get Twitter that much because it was new. Obviously, I got into it in the end, but
right.
I remember saying I'd love a sort of a Twitter for photographs. And basically, a couple of years on from that, anyway, this is what Instagram sort of is. But the brilliant thing about it is it sort of brings photography to everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's really creative. It's just a simple app that you take a picture, you can apply a simple filter to it and post it, and it can be commented on, liked, and you follow people, similar follow model to Twitter, and so you get, the people you're following, you get nice pictures just popping up in your stream, and it's just, I think it's just really addictive. But I think the thing that I love about it is just, it's given me that sort of outlet to be able to sort of indulge in my sort of interest in photography without actually having to spend too much time processing stuff, carrying around a giant camera. And also I think the social interaction aspect of it makes it more interesting, because I think the only reason really what makes photography or any sort of art like that interesting is the fact that you want to share it with someone. You want to share it with people. And taking photographs by yourself and looking at yourself is great, but the exciting part is sharing that, and I think that's what makes Instagram so special.
Totally. Yeah. So, why did you decide to become a designer? Was it between like a couple different career options?
I think it was always going to be that way for me. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to be average at drawing, but sort of like on the better side of average. I wasn't brilliant, but it was the one thing I could do. I wasn't really into maths and more traditional sort of arts tradition, wasn't it? But I was just sort of I was always into doing creative stuff, and at school and at college, always just followed the creative path. And I actually did my degrees in sort of art, and I just did a lot of painting and stuff. But as always, I think the real world is that I was always going to be something to do with design.
So it's just destiny.
I just fell into it, and it was never really. I was lucky because I was never confused about what I wanted to do. It had to be creative, and actually, even though I did my degree in art, the course I did before that was graphic design, and I've always been into. And the art I did as well, the painting I did was sort of a bit graphical too. So I've always been on the graphic side of art, and I like graphic art, illustration, and it just was always going to be that way.
Do you remember the first website that you designed?
Yeah, the very first website I designed was for me and my brother. It's actually I've actually kept it on my portfolio. Yeah. It's on my portfolio now at MikeKus.com. And I kept it there because, it's built in tables. I did it in Dreamweaver. I didn't actually look at any code. And all the underlines are done with pressing the stop key, 100 times. But it's just, from a design point of view, I'm still pleased with it, because it was, I spent a lot of time doing it. It was interesting, the concept. I had some fun with animated GIFs, and, flickering candles and stuff. It was just interesting, and I just still think it's quite interesting now, so hence I keep it in there.
It's really cool.
But, yeah.
So do you have a favorite site that you've designed? Just so hard to pick. Right?
No. I think the most successful site I've done is probably the Carsonified one, and I think I just loved, and I wanted to do something unique for Carsonified, because you know, I had to express the personality of the company there, and it was doing this sort of simple 2-color thing for each different page and illustration. I don't know, it took me ages to come up with that idea. It sounds stupid. I did so many PSDs and mock-ups for it. It was sort of a bit of a eureka moment when I thought, yeah, I'll do that. And I ran, I mentioned this in a blog post before, but I was running and I ran past the shop window and I saw this poster, and it's just a 2-color poster in the front window of Gap clothes store, and he just gave me an idea. And it just had massive sale. It was just a sale poster, but I just went home after that run and did like 3 pages that night, and it just happened, just worked.
So do you usually go for like hi-fi mock-ups or lo-fi mock-ups? Would you say that you really like are pixel perfectionist and make lots of PSDs, or do you like to draw stuff out more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have a system, It just depends. I mean, sometimes I do sketch stuff, but normally I don't. What I normally do is actually sketch or write stuff down, words. I write down my goals for the site, what I want it to do visually, and then I jot down a bunch of keywords attached to those things. So say I've got a site, I'm thinking, I want this to be, I'm trying to think, I'll think about who it's aimed at, what the site's about, who I want to feel, what sort of people are going to want to feel attached to this site, and then I'll write down, under those headings, I'll write down a bunch of stuff, and then attach styles to those keywords, if you know what I mean. So, and that will sort of give me the basis for a look at the style of the site. And then I may sketch something, but probably, to be honest, I'd more often just start bashing things together in Photoshop.